Going to staff reports, Sycamore's Vintage Car Club event on June the 28th, 2026. There's a recommendation that council authorize staff to close Main Street from Paradise Avenue to Riverside Avenue on June 28th, 2026 for the Sycamore's Vintage Car Club annual event. Could I get a mover? Councillor Beach, Councillor Bushel, Dean, Jamie.
Thank you through the chair. We are just coming before council in regards to the new policy that we put in place last year, which was policy 3A in regards to having a special event road closure. So as you can see in the background, it was 2 years ago that we asked the car show group to move their event from Finlayson Park to Main Street. Last year was our first year. The overwhelming support from the community and the businesses downtown were in favor of it. So in order to continue on that path, we did send out a letter to everybody that was affected by the road closures in October. We received, I believe, in my head, 13 responses back. 12 of those were in favor and 1 was not in favor. So we take that as a positive that we like to continue to allow for this event to take place on Main Street. Some of the things that we did note, and we did have a debrief with the car show group last year, was that moving forward, the district of Sycamore will ensure that 3 days prior to the event that we will put up road closure signs, so that way we can ensure that vehicles are off the street. They did have some vehicles that were on the street during the event that did take up some valuable real estate for the cars coming in. And we did note with the car show group that moving forward, all washroom facilities extra needed for the event would be supplied by the car show group, and any special event signage would also be applied or would be supplied by the group. That's pretty much the report in a nutshell. I'll reply it.
Thank you, Jamie. Council, any comments, any questions? Oh, Bianca, do you want to go first and then we'll start with council?
Oh, no, I was just.
Oh, okay. Councilor Rich.
Yeah, through the chair. I just want to say what a great event this was. Like, it was rock star, and the packed with cars, packed with people. The weather helped, obviously. But yeah, I support this in every way. It was great. Just the town had a really great buzz about it.
Councilor Bushel.
Yeah, through the chair, Jamie, great job working with the car club. Yeah, it's a really important, all those cars that actually stayed overnight and plugged up the actual where the car show was on the far end. It just really made it, didn't make it like very unique. It kind of, people, you're starting to look at a boat and then you're looking at somebody else's brand new car. So it would be good if we can get that figured out. And then as for washrooms, I did have a lot of people talk about washrooms. And we have some of the businesses that are open. Hopefully they'll open up their washrooms and allow them to use the washrooms, but and then we have the one at the end of the Main Street at the roundabout. But is there a possibility that we can have their common area in the medical center open?
Yes,
and,
the discussion that would be had last year, that was the plan. However, the medical center wasn't open as of yet. So that space will be open for public washing. So that will be something that they will have to do signage for. I believe the visitor center should be open at that time as well. So this building will also be available, but I do feel that some porta potties on this, the east side of the building needs to be done. And that's something that I did have long conversation with Wayne Self over at Askew's about that. And then I had a long discussion back and forth with Denny, with Brothers, because it does definitely affect them as well. And so we suggested that maybe what they do is they run a golf cart for that day, where we say we bring the party to you and they can phone in and, you know, have their liquor order delivered to them. So we're thinking outside of the box, trying to come up with different ways to make it work. And I should note that this would be the only road closure that we have throughout the summer. The other car club is looking to either join this group, or they're in conversations with Deb Keep in order to maybe do the second car show later in September along with the Monkey Fest. So this would be the only closure on Main Street for the summer at this point in time. Somebody still may come to us, but at this point in time, this is the only application we have.
Thanks, Jamie. Councilor Bailey.
Yeah, I think this was one of the standout events of the entire summer. Packed, it was wonderful. People had a great time. I 100% supported it. It's activating Main Street in a way that I think that's what we want. We want high quality, impactful events that people enjoy the space and, you know, really get a flavor of St. Louis. I think this event did that in spades, so I really support it. And yeah, I mean, I look forward to bigger and better and perfect weather this year.
Weather.
We have,
Sorry. Counselor McCabe, Counselor Evans, did one of you guys have your hands up a minute ago? Counselor Evans, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm really excited that this is coming back. We need more stuff like this because the trickle down effect to our businesses is really positive. So I'm glad it's coming back, and yeah, I'm 100% behind this.
Perfect. Combine that with the bikers heading over to the rail trail. You'll have a busy downtown for sure. Go ahead, Jamie.
and just to note that we did attach the map on there because we have talked with the car club and we are looking at possibly if they need the space to expand down Shishwap Avenue, both on the north side and the south side up until Temple Street, so they can branch down that way. We did talk to emergency services. They're in favor of that as long as there's space that vehicles can get through. And the other nice part is that the healthcare center is also open this year, so they'll actually be able to utilize the space in the parking lot, which they weren't able to last year. So that should give them access probably for another 10 cars in that space as well.
Perfect. Thank you. Councillor Beach.
Yeah, thanks, Jamie. This sounds absolutely amazing, and I missed it last year. I was meeting or somewhere, I'm not sure.
Maybe.
Anyways, I'll miss it again this year, but it's absolutely awesome. The bathrooms are really important, so they're not bothering businesses down. I'm sure it is.
Okay, perfect. Anything else? Malcolm?
Well, I just wanted to make a motion that we authorize staff to close Main Street from Paradise Avenue to Riverside Avenue on June 28th for the Sycamoose Vintage Car Club annual event.
Well, thank you, but we already have a motion on the table. We're just asking for.
No, it's just a staff
We're gonna go to
recommendation.
We're
It's
just
just
gonna
a-
go to all in favor.
Okay. I thought it was only a staff recommendation at this time.
Do we have any motion?
You got it first.
It is. It's got a first and a second. It's a recommendation. Yep.
Okay, all right.
Okay,
Sorry.
thank you. All in favor? Okay, Malcolm, you might be out there, but quit messing us up.
Well, I'm behind by 2 hours or ahead, eh? Maybe behind.
Old Town Road civic addressing. Recommendation that council support the civic address adjustment plan for properties along Old Town Road. Can I get a mover? Councillor Bushel, Councillor Bailey. And Nicole, do you want to give us a?
Yeah, thank you through the chair. Okay, so tonight we are looking for council support to move forward with the Old Town Road re-addressing process. Last week at the Planning and Development Committee, we reintroduced specific addressing issues along Old Town Road and Town Road West. Right now, the matter is urgent for us because of the work that June and the Finance Department has been doing to ensure that we're compliant with NG 911 emergency services, as well as addressing new developments as they're coming. So as a reminder, for Old Town Road and Old Town Road West and on this map here, the numbers increase in two different directions from Old Town Road and Old Town Road West. And there's no physical distinction on the road that you've changed roads. There's not enough space between these existing addresses to be able to provide new parcels through subdivision, a proper civic address that's sequential. New suites or additional dwelling units are also difficult to civic address because the numbers have been taken up. There is some use of 100, 100B, 100C, and that's inconsistent with our own numbering convention in the road numbering bylaw, probably not the proper name for that. And so on Monday, June and I met with the fire chief and we walked through this proposal with him, and he is obviously, I would say, in support of the proposal just to reduce confusion for emergency services along this stretch. And so on the next map, if you could go there, Bianca, our proposed solution is to recognize two, we'll call them anchor businesses along this stretch. So we have 200 Old Town Road, which is Old Town Bay Marina at the west. And then 675 Old Town Road, which is Twin Acres Manufacturing, and that's on the east end of Old Town Road. So those two addresses in our proposal would remain the same. And then everything in between would be addressed more appropriately between. So starting from 200 and on to where it connects with Southwell Road. So we would remove the reference to Old Town Road West as well. And it would just be Old Town Road. So before this occurs, because this is what we're proposing to do, we recognize that we're gonna need to work with the owners along this stretch. And so we would like to bring forward a policy at a future council meeting to support property owners in the transition of a new address. So we'd be working with the finance department to put together a policy that can help with administrative costs of changing a civic address. So if this proposal is supported, changing the numbering, we would bring forward a policy to help people change their addresses. Then we would move forward with contacting people and saying, this is what we have to help you change the addressing, and this is why we're doing it for emergency service purposes. So that is the proposal tonight.
Thank you, Nicole. Quick question. Have we reached out to all those folks in Old Town Road that are changing?
Through the chair, I wasn't here for it, but in 2023, I think when it was first introduced, there might have been some consultation, but we haven't done any consultation today. What we would like to do is consult with them after we have a policy that says this is how we can help you in this transition.
Okay, that sounds
Yeah, so
good.
we haven't done yet.
And that doesn't include anything past Twin Acres, like it doesn't go into the industrial park or anything like that. So it's just,
Yeah, nothing along Thompson Place, Thompson Court, that would remain the same.
okay, perfect. And this did come to the finance. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
Or to the planning and development.
we discussed that planning, I think a couple of years ago before. Yeah, you weren't here. And there was a discussion about it, but the big change here is we're not changing the commercial businesses there. And that was the huge impact that we heard at the time, because obviously that has significant impact on a business. So I think this is what we heard at planning was a much better plan, I think, to go forward and to figure out how to mitigate some of the costs. I think is totally fair, but taking the commercial piece out of it should be a lot less disruptive. So
Thanks.
I support it.
Thank you, Councillor Rich.
Yeah, through the chair, that would be my big thing is we have that communication. When this came out in 2023, it was a big kerfuffle and people were very, very upset down in Old Town. I remember a lot of pushback about it. I think it absolutely needs to be done just for safety wise, so the fire truck can find you. But that would be the only thing that I would say moving forward is all that communication absolutely happens before anything moves, because people don't like change.
Dean, go ahead.
Just a comment here, as Nicole mentioned, we bring forward a policy to council, so that we have that consultation wrapped out in policy. As we do things, and we've been doing this, we saw the previous one about road culture, we're trying to create policies so we have consistency in what we do. So we're gonna create the policy based on your council supports this part, we'll go and create the policy that matches. I've always said this kind of, there's no such thing as plagiarism in local government. So we go and look at how changing address policies in other communities that's already been done. We'll look at the examples. We'll find a policy that works for Sycamore, we'll bring that back to council. That will include the consultation process that Councilor Ritchie alluded to. Would outline the letters and the notifications that we provide to residents so that they're aware of it and have the opportunity to voice any concerns they have.
Perfect. All right. Anyone else? Okay, it's called the question. All in favor? And that's carried. Thanks, Nicole. Okay, Sycamoose Ferry Society Economic Opportunity Fund application. There's a recommendation that the District of Sycamoose, with the support of Area E Director, authorize use of the Sycamoose and Area E opportunity funds, economic opportunity funds to support the 2026 operations of the Sycamoose Ferry Society, and that council authorize a total of 75,000 to the Sycamoose Ferry Society, which includes 50,000 already approved through district resolution on January 14th, 2026. Can I get a mover? Councillor Beach, Councillor Rich. Bianca, do you want to go ahead or?
Yep. So this request is coming in to increase the amount by $25,000 to help offset to have additional summer students on the ferry. so that there can be assistance to help people on and off the ferry as per the regulations they have to follow. The captain of the boat should not be off of the boat at any times. And with the fluctuation in water and stuff like that, it's very hard for accessibility. So this will support an additional staff member.
Thank you. This.
Yeah.
Thank you. This also is so that the Ferry Society can start earlier as well. So they need some extra funding for that too. So when I met with Director Martin, when the Ferry Society requested, she was more than in favor of adding another 25 to it, just to make sure that they had enough money to operate, or our contribution to operate. Councillor Rich.
Through the chair, yeah, and I think the other thing here is with that extra person, we've got a tour guide. So if the captain's working, we've got someone there that can explain what's happening in Sycamoose, where to go, where to eat, and do all that. You've got that person that can always work the crowd, we could say. So I'm really in support of this. I think it's an excellent idea.
Anyone else? Call the question. Oh, sorry, Councillor Bushell, I didn't see. You're kind of quiet.
Yeah, you do the chair. I support the ferry service 100%. We have 650 plus the extra 50. We have 700,000 into the ferry service, and I think Sycamoose supports it 100%. I support it 100%. I would like to see the ownership group kick in a little bit of money, and it would be Splatsing and CSRD and Nord. This ferry, we wouldn't need this ferry if we had the proper parking area. So I just wondered have they ever gone out to talk to the CSRD and do a delegation to the CSRD and Nord and Splatsing to see if they would want to kick in some money. I mean, I support it 100%. I think Jimmy and the crew, they all need help when they're moving that ferry, because you can't leave the power on and run off and help somebody either. And I do support it. But I just think, Sycamoose has got 700 grand into this, not like any other community has. And, but I just, we're always, we're depleting our EOF fund money for other projects too, which is okay. But I just want to know if anybody else has gone out and done any more digging elsewhere.
Bianca, right before you go, I agree. I totally support the Ferry Society 100%, but I think that parking in downtown Main Street, downtown Sycamoose, is really key for us. So supporting, the ferry with this money, which I agree that you're concurring as well. But I think that I don't even know if we know how big this is going to be. So that ferry to us going across is also such a draw. And when I talk to the Ferry Society, it's like, that's the thing. The ferry's the thing that's bringing them here to take this adventure. So we just need to keep supporting it. And I think Bianca has
Just
CSRD.
No, just to address Councillor Bushell, and by talking to the Ferry Society, they're knocking on every door possible. They have already received a support letter from the city of Armstrong directly for over $5,000 for this year. So they are definitely reaching out to the different participating areas. And I'm not sure success with other groups, but yeah, they definitely are checking other avenues.
Go ahead. And then.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to know if has anybody asked the CSRD for money, and have you had a presentation to the CSRD?
I can't address, I don't think there's been a CSRD presentation of CSRD. I know that letters have gone out to all the communities, municipalities and cities around us and areas asking for funding for the ferry. But it hasn't come to the CSRD, and perhaps that's something that the Ferry Society could look at. Councillor Beach, then Councillor Bailey.
Yeah, I just want to say that I really like the fact, as you do, that people have to come into Sycamoose to park. And the ferry is unique. It is a great idea. I hope it stays and we make it, keep the uniqueness about that whole experience, because I think people love it. So I have no problem with the fact that there's no parking on the other side. I like it in Sycamoose.
Councillor Bailey.
Well, I have no problem that there's no parking on the other side, but that's beside the point. No, I support it as well. I mean, it's one of these things that, you know, kind of came out of, in a sense of nowhere. We did a lot of work with the staff and everybody, the whole Fair Society did a lot of work with the bridge contractor last year to find a unique solution to problems that we're having with connectivity to our park. And then this has kind of taken on a life of its own to some degree, right? Probably a lot more than what we maybe originally thought. So I certainly support it. I mean, then I'll just say what I always say on the EOF funds, that I'd like to have a little bit of a strategy. And I know staff is, you know, we had a motion and you're looking at it. And maybe this is gonna be a part of that strategy, who knows, right? I mean, we're gonna do this funding for this year and then we're gonna have to look at it again. There'll be another new council, so they'll have to look at it. But yeah, I support it. It's sometimes these things that pop up just by out of necessity, then become something like, oh, that really worked, right? And I think that's the situation we're in, and now we're refining it. And you know, it is, there's no doubt that it's budget intensive, like it's a couple $100,000, but that's what you would expect. You need captains, you need vessels, you need, you know, that's just how much it is. But I do want people to know that, because I want them to know the investments that we're putting into the town, and that this service is really supported by a whole range of things, like from sponsors, from government to everybody. So it is a kind of a team effort, and yeah, let's hope for an absolute perfect weather summer, and we'll see. Hopefully this thing really rips. So.
Awesome. Who do we got? Bob or Malcolm? No? Okay. All right, let's call the question. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I thought you were pointing at them. You're doing this, I'm going.
I just wanted to close by saying, nobody supports the rail trail more than my wife and myself. We probably are on it 2 to 3 times a week, and looking forward to riding to Grimrod this spring, or any day actually. And I just, like I say, we got to look at all our angles, and we have other projects that we could really, you know, use the funds for too. But I just want to, you know, let the Ferry Service Society know that there is other pockets of money out there, and it would be nice to see other, you know, ownership on the trail help out too. That's all I wanted to say.
Okay, anything new? Anything else to add? Let's call the question. All in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. Okay, local government election, 2026 local government election. Dean, recommendation that pursuant to section 58(1) and 2 of the Local Government Act, Shauna Cole be appointed chief election officer for the purpose of conducting the 2026 general local election, with power to appoint another election officials as required for the administration and the conduct of the 2026 general local election. And that Allison Lemire be appointed Deputy Chief Election Officer for the 2026 general local election. Could I get a mover? Councillor Bailey, Councillor Bushel, Dean.
Briefly, council, so this is the beginning of the election process. Under the legislation, the council is required to do these appointments. Begins the process that administratively began in October. This formally begins the process. It follows the standard protocol. This is happening all over BC right now, getting ready for October election. There's a whole process that carries on throughout the year, where these people will be involved with their staff. And this begins that process.
Perfect. Council, any questions? Call the question. All in favor? Opposed? Councillor Rich is opposed. Okay, we're moving on to Sycamoose Fire Department Fire Smart Grant application. There's a recommendation that council support an application to the Union of BC Municipalities Fire Smart Community Funding and Supports Program for allocation-based funding for fire smart activities for a 2-year term at the maximum amount of $200,000 per year. Could I get a mover on that? Councillor Bailey, Councillor Rich, and
Dino.
Sure, I'll speak to it. So this is our,
Or Bianca.
oh,
Sure, you're ready. Go for it.
I will introduce Bianca. Thank you, Bianca.
Oh.
Love that. Any damages beyond.
Yeah, this is just a required resolution, for our grant application to continue our Fire Smart program. So that we have one full-time Fire Smart coordinator, and in the summer, we have 3 part-timers. This program is, gonna be going through some changes next cycle. We got in to this final cycle with provincial changes. Likely the next cycle will be different, but this is to maintain our current funding stream, which is 200,000.
Any questions? Counselor Rich?
Yeah, through the chair. That was what my question, because in the news, it was like Fire Smart's being canceled, but we're under that radar and so they're talking 227.
Yeah, so it all came down to deadlines of when the province put out the things, and we were able to get the initial first application phase in before the deadline.
Okay.
So, yeah, that should be fine. Now it's moving to a more rigorous application, and there's gonna be a lot of communities losing their Fire Smart funding, it appears.
Thank you for getting us under the.
Travis.
Thank you, Travis, wherever you are. We appreciate you.
Okay, any other comments? All in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. CAO report. CAO, take it away.
So my CAO report, this is our 3rd in this series, and I'll continue to do these monthly with council, giving you a little bit of update on what we're seeing on the horizon and what we've got going on. Probably one of our more prominent pieces is our construction on Main Street, putting on the cornice and the roof at 425, so that building's beginning to really take shape. As the exterior gets finished with the structural components, they'll move away from finishing on the exterior, and you'll see them polishing the windows, the window openings, that's so they can begin to have a controlled environment inside. They'll move to the interior of the building for the next few months as they begin that process. Then they'll come back to the exterior when the weather allows. You can't have freezing overnight to do caulking and other things, so can't put the windows and so forth in. Then we'll begin to see the exterior. It'll start to look like the building you would expect to look like. So that's going on. We've got a number of other projects in the community that are happening, which we're excited to see. Lots of busyness in the community. Not the greatest snow year this year, but still lots happening. I was surprised to see how many people are in town, which is great to see. We hope to continue to see that throughout the winter.
Cool. Thank you. Questions, Counselor Rich?
Through the chair. Dean, I've got a quick question. Are we gonna get those yellow barriers in front of DQ now that the snow, the snow never came. We never know when it's gonna come, but they didn't go up. They're up across by the light standard there. But I think we're done, with the snow. Is that gonna happen anytime soon?
Depending on who you talk to, I would hope we're done. I think we have a lot of people that are sledders that would hope that we're not done, but yes, in the next few weeks, we're gonna definitely look at we're already starting our spring operational work. That began actually far earlier than we expected. We're doing some of those pieces. And as soon as we're in March, we expect to put barriers back on.
And a second question, can you address what's going on with the park in front of the high school? I've had lots of questions about that. There's been just some shrubbery moved around and people are a little, so that's a memorial to our youth that we've lost over the years. But there's not been any postings and stuff like that. And I've had a couple of people phoning thinking that the whole thing was being removed. And I honestly don't know what's happening. I said it wasn't being removed, but can you maybe speak to that too?
Works there are finished. The only thing left to be done is planters are going back in. We needed to do some work because of the amount of weeding maintenance that was required. So we went and removed a bunch of the soil material and replaced it with rock, redid those rockery components just for maintenance purposes, and that worked because nearing completion, and then the planters will go back in when they do their spring work.
Okay, so the memorial is staying and there is no change there. We're just making it budget friendly for maintaining.
And all the alterations that were going to be done to that space have already completed.
Okay.
Rock work is, I believe, nearly completed now. So the only other thing that's going back in is.
Yeah, it looks great. People are worried that the memorial's coming up. And I said, I don't think so, but I thought I would address it.
Counselor Bailey?
I just wanted to, I guess, 2 questions. One, I had a question, someone asking when the street sweeping is gonna happen. I can't believe I asked this question. That came to me in February, but it was 10 degrees the other day. And then I guess just the other piece was, because I think it's something we're, staff is working really hard on, is the next stages of the wastewater treatment plant and what we're doing with the province. I don't know if there's any more color you could put to it other than your commentary here, but kind of where are we at in that process?
There's a couple pieces that this year has been exceptionally warm, which has allowed for a lot more of the work that we expect to be doing in the spring to be done earlier. So our operations team was able to move on to that. Not having snowfall also allowed us to free up our operations team to do some of the work on the sand bases to our existing ribs. So a lot of that work that we expected we weren't going to be able to do till later on has already been completed. We're waiting for approvals to do rib 4, as well as approvals around our composition of water for discharge into our ribs and what the phosphorus levels can be, and we anticipate getting some more answers on that in April.
Go ahead.
Just one more, and I think because we've had a lack of snow, we probably have a good news budget on our snow removal budget. It's probably pretty healthy.
I'm asking you immediately knock on some wood, please, because as Daryl explained to the media when they inquired about that exact question this week. Yes, you're correct. This year has been good so far. We're 2 months in. That doesn't mean that October to December, which is the remainder of our budgetary year, could not have a significant snowfall. So yes, it's freed up resources to utilize our staff on other things, which has been great. We're already looking at Finlayson and places like that where normally we wouldn't be looking at them until the end of March. So that's positive. What that means for our budget, we don't want to jinx ourselves as far as what that means for the fall snows, but as of today, it's good.
So to Ian's point to the street sweeper, I'll let you know, because Daryl generally phones me and goes, hey, you can wash your windows next week. So that's, because it's my thing. I go, it's a street sweeper, we can start washing windows. Yeah. But to your point about the wastewater, this extra ribbon, the work that we're doing right now gives us some great, we're not running out of capacity. We will be fine for quite some time. So I don't want people to be scared that we're out of, we don't have capacity for wastewater when we're working on it and it's coming to fruition.
So the work that was conducted through the fall and was completed this early spring gives us the liquid capacity that we need. It's the water that comes in and we have to go through the infiltration and back into the ground. Dealing with the volumes of water was a bit problematic last year, so this year is going to give us more capacity. By having that sand cleaned and replaced, the infiltration is working better. We're seeing better performance, so that part is good. The growth in the community over the next few years, that's where Rib 4 begins to come in. It also gives us more maintenance capacity, gives us another pond to be able to fill so we can dry another one out. Right now, we're limited by the season. We have to wait till fall to dry them out. This would actually allow us to do that earlier in the year. So there's a few moving parts, but the plans that we have and the wheels that we're working on right now are going to give us capacity for the next 15 years as they plan in the intent.
Controversial.
Yeah, through the chair, Dean, just a couple things. Petrocan cleanup or Petrocan new ownership, is any word on that?
The most latest information I can give council at this point is the ownership has been approved by the courts in Alberta. It's awaiting the approval by the courts in BC. So the company itself that went into receivership was an Alberta company. So that process began. But the property is in BC, so they have to come to the BC courts. It's expected that would be approved soon. I expect it would be done by now. And then we would expect that we will be hearing from the new owners as to how they're going to proceed with opening up the business again.
Okay, thank you. And then one other quick one. Have we been maybe communicating with the developer on Main Street for the new building and also the seniors building? I had a tour of the seniors building the other day and it was just phenomenal. And I was just trying to figure out how the lineup of the sidewalk would go from the seniors building to the Main Street. So yeah, just a communication to make sure they're both on the same page and they can get seniors, through the walkway, the proposed walkway to Main Street.
Absolutely, look into it.
Okay, great, thank you.
Okay, and I have one more question because I'm looking over your head at the Camus sign right there. And I'm wondering when that Camus sign will be back on the south side of town.
We are in the schedule for March, and I've asked Daryl, actually followed up with them today. I didn't hear what the result of the conversation was. But it's a manufacturer that built the sign,
Yeah.
it's in queue, and our queuing period was for March, so it should be going in.
It's in powder coating.
They have to redo the welding for them.
Okay. Well, it's exactly like the picture. I'm looking over it. I recognize that.
Camus sign.
That Camus sign. Okay, any other questions? Go ahead.
Just one more thing, and Dean and I spoke about this today. The cleanup is April 25th. So for our community cleanup, it is April 25th. So try to book it off and come and clean up because we're going to need you. Okay.
All right, committee and regional district reports. Does anyone have internal committees for information planning and development committee meeting minutes? Okay. Columbia Shuswap Regional District for information, regular board meeting. Got nothing. Okay, we're at public input. Yeah, go ahead.
Just through the chair, we skip correspondence.
How did I do that? Oh, I was going ahead, my auctioneer hands. Okay, we have correspondence. Who would like to speak to correspondence? Kate, go ahead, Siobhan.
Through the chair. I just would like to write a letter of support to the BC Farmers Market. Our market has been the top market, medium-sized market in BC. Thank you, Deb Heap. The other thing is the food vouchers go to our, Deb does a great job getting them out to our resource center and to both our schools and to families that need it. And what this does provide healthy foods. And the other thing it does is it boosts our market so that the people who are selling at the markets actually have some guaranteed income. So I would propose that we do write a letter in support of this.
Okay, thank you. Do you want to make that motion?
I make a motion that we write a letter in support of the BC
Farmers Market. And Pam's going to second that. Any more discussion around this? I can't see the team on the screen. Kate, go ahead, Malcolm or Bob. Go ahead, Bob.
Sorry, my hand was up for something else in correspondence. I didn't.
Okay.
And I-
Okay, well,
I'm
just
okay.
hold that thought and let's call the question. All in favor of that? Carried. Okay, Bob, go ahead.
I just wanted to thank Miss Sidalee Kylo for her excellent letter to us with the visionary idea to have an art center where people could sit and enjoy art with couches and chairs and show off art from the community. And I also want to just mention that she's an amazing artist and she did some great artwork at the end of the letter to the district council and the mayor.
Thank you. Yes, I'll comment on that as well. Today, Councillor Bushel and Councillor Rich were here and we had 21 grade 5 and 6ers in here with some great ideas. And we had they were a mock delegation. So they brought a stack of requests that we're going to, we've got Allison and Kara looking at to respond back to them. But we had a bit of a chit chat, open house here for them to share their ideas. And it was really good. It was really good to see those young minds and they were really in tune and they were really engaged. So yeah, Councillor Bushel.
Yeah, that was great. That was a lot of fun today. Also just wanted to recognize Tammy Brown. She sent a letter in and thanked everybody for sharpening their pencils and, just concerned about the environment of, the budget and everything. So yeah, we're working on it and we still got some time and we're working away. So thank you for the letter.
Okay, any more on correspondence? Okay, we're going to go to public input. We've got 15 minutes for public input. So if anyone has anything they want to say, you have 3 minutes. Anyone in the gallery? Online? And there we are. Okay, so we are going to go into adjourn. So we're going to adjourn the regular council meeting for February 25th at 5:41. Could I get a mover? Councillor Bailey, Councillor Bushel, all in favor? And we're adjourned. And bye, guys online. Have a nice evening.